Good evening. How's everybody doing? I was trying to get this thing to go live on Facebook, but it wasn't cooperating. So it's just spinning and spinning, but I am going to record it for those folks that signed up but could not join. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Kim Danke. I am your fast track instructor. I found Shibboleth a year ago this month, actually, lost 50 pounds, and I just had to teach it because I really found out that what this is a nutrition education program, and I think everybody needs to know it. So I really am quite compelled to teach it. Hey, Kania. When you come on, if you don't mind, tell me, tell us where you're from, but set your chat to all panelists and attendees, because if you set your chat to all panelists, I'll be the only one that can see it. But if you set it to all panelists and attendees, if you ask a question, anybody can see it, okay? So set your chat to all panelists and attendees, and then tell me where you're from, if you are here for a refresh, or if you are new, if you're new. All right, I've got Annette on here, and Deanda, and Judy, and Kathy, and Kania, and Lisa. How is everybody? All right, we got Lisa. Lisa's new. Judy is from Carrollton. And Annette is here for a refresh from Villa Rica. Awesome. My daughter lives out in Carrollton area, so she's close to y'all. Well, that is fantastic. Well, I usually give everybody until 8:03 to get on here, and it is 8:03, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to get started with everything. I'm going to share my screen with you tonight. Now, one of the most important things you can do if you did not watch last night's program overview, you need to do that, because tonight we are talking about the different foods and how to put them together, and we're starting to familiarize ourselves with the foods that come in different categories, okay? Because that's one of the most important things that you can do is start to learn which foods are in which of the 7 categories. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Feel free to chat or ask any questions that come up. If I'm in a groove and I'm moving along and I haven't answered your question, I might get to it when I look over or in the end, but don't hesitate in asking it because you might forget the question, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you, and obviously I was trying to get this to go live on Facebook, but it's not. That's why it's just scrolling like that. But let me know if you can see this right here where it says Fast Track Phase 1, Week 1, because I want to make sure that you can see that. Oh, good, Judy. I'm glad you watched that program overview last week and got interested. That's awesome. Okay, thank you, Kania. That is awesome. Okay, and Kania's from Douglasville. We got quite a few people doing Shibboleth out in Douglasville. Awesome. Thank you, Annette. Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to move along. And one of the things that I'm going to do is every time, Lisa, this is a chat only, but if you want to talk or say something, I can let you in. But this one is just really where you chat. I'm going to talk to you guys and show my screen and teach. And if you need something, you can chat. Hey, Kimberly Roberts from Villa Rica. And Kimberly and Lisa and Annette, if y'all will set your little chat button to where it says all panelists and attendees, you should see a little drop-down menu arrow, and you can choose that, and that way everybody can see what you are typing. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them there, and I will get back to them. Okay? And I hope that makes sense. All right, so what I'm going to do tonight is I am going to, every time I get to a new category, I'm going to read the food list. I know that y'all can read, so I'm not going to reread these over and over and over. I'm only going to read it when we get to a new category, okay? You are going to get this website. It's going to be in the new member fast track group. If you are not in the new member fast track group on Shibboleth, feel free to join that group. It lasts for 1 week with the sole intent and purpose of teaching you how to do this program. So it doesn't have as much going on in it as the silver level group does, but the silver level group is doing exactly what it should be doing, and this group needs to do what it should be doing. So when we get off of here, I am going to put the recording of this on there as well as this website. So you'll have this. But if you do have pen and paper with you, what I highly suggest that you start to do is write down the foods that you see from these categories that you like, because that's one of the most important things that you can do. Okay, so tonight I'm going to read over what we have listed here for category 1. Category 1 is a lean protein. So it's a lean protein. It's a protein and it hardly has any fat, if any at all. Lean protein. You can have 2 to 8 ounces of that if you are looking for some type of measurement guide. Then you can have 2 to 8 ounces of that. But really, that lean protein is going to go under this part of your hand, okay? And remember, we put our 2 hands together and we put them together as closely as possible, and then we cover them up. And as long as you cannot see your food sticking out around your hands, then you have portion controlled, okay? I like that because it's simple. We carry our measuring tools with us everywhere we go. Fold our thumbs in as close as possible, place down over our food, and it shouldn't be any thicker than the thickest part of your hand. And I say that to let you know, don't pile up your Thanksgiving plate and then go, I can't see my food. It's this tall. Okay, that's not what we're doing. But we're going to use the 2-hand rule. So, but if you look and you want a measurement, 2 to 8 ounces of a lean protein. So we've got egg whites in this list. All your fish is in this list. Chicken breast, turkey breast, pork tenderloin, boar's head turkey, boar's head chicken breast, boar's head London broil, low-fat cottage cheese, fat-free cottage cheese, Greek plain yogurt, Hebrew National 97% lean beef franks, and 96% lean ground meat. Let's say that you are not necessarily a meat eater. Then you're just going to need to go into the food library and find the lean proteins that are not meat. You can use the filter for vegan or vegetarian, okay? But if you want to find something that's not necessarily a meat, just use the filters because you don't have to eat meat to do this program. Now, Kania and I were talking tonight in the new member fast track group about some fish. And if it's just regular old fish, it is a lean protein. But if it comes from a box or if it has a manufacturer's name on there, you're going to want to just check that out and make sure it's in the food library. If you don't see it in the food library, take a picture of the front of the item and the back of the item with the nutrition label and the ingredients. Put that in the Shibboleth Fixed It group on Facebook, and Kim Shibboleth, who's not me, it's a different person, will look that up and make sure that it works. If it works, she will also add that to the food library. That way everybody can access it, okay? Because what I love about this program is it really is members supporting members backed by the Shibboleth team. And so we help, members help us build that food library by putting those things in there. And if it doesn't work, then she'll let you know why it doesn't work, because that's an important part of knowing what you're doing and why you're doing it, okay? So, last night, if you watched that video, then you learned that you can eat a category 1 lean protein. You can eat it all by itself. You don't even have to combine it. Now, combining foods in a way that control insulin is the #1 way to weight reduction, but not everything has to be combined. Some categories of food can be eaten by themselves, and lean protein is one of them. So the cooking oils that you see listed here are 100% MCT oil, coconut oil, ghee butter, hemp oil, or PAM 0-calorie cooking spray. Okay, so all of those can be used, but the one that is the one that you want to use for the fastest fat burning combination is MCT oil. MCT oil is a medium chain triglyceride. It is not an easy source of energy for your body because it burns up like that, and there is nothing really for your body to have to burn off with MCT oil. It burns its own self off. It's that quickly it's a short wick fat, if we want to look at it like that. It also burns up very quickly. So if you are, when you're cooking with it, you want to make sure that you cook on low to medium heat. I'm going to use a piece of chicken as an example, chicken breast. So if you're cooking 1 chicken breast, you can use 1 tablespoon of MCT oil. But if you're cooking 4 chicken breasts, let's say for the family, you can use 4 tablespoons of MCT oil, because obviously you have to have enough in there to cook. But when you're cooking that chicken, make sure that you cook it on low to medium heat, because it'll set off your smoke detector if you don't. And just the fact that I have to say that it sets off your smoke detector shows you that MCT oil burns up quickly, okay? It's got a low smoke point and it burns up quickly. So we prefer that you use the Zero Drag brand. Now on Shibboleth, Travis and Sasha, they won't tell you that you have to buy anything at all from them in their store. But I'm not them, and I'm going to tell you, I would buy Zero Drag. If it were me, I would buy the Zero Drag. Here's why. It's not an emulsified MCT oil. It is an MCT oil that has been optimized for cooking, and that is the only purpose for which we are using MCT oil. We just use it for cooking. You could also use it if you wanted to make a salad dressing. You could also use it as a replacement in a recipe, but we are not taking it as a supplement, and we are not adding it to our coffee, and we're not adding it to our shakes or anything like that. Okay, and I've looked at the back of the nutrition label on, let's say, an MCT oil that you just might find at Walmart that says 100% MCTs, but in 1 tablespoon it'll have 130 calories, whereas our MCT oil has only 100 calories in it. 30 calories makes a difference. Not in the beginning if you've got weight to lose, but when you get closer down to the nitty gritty and you're just trying to get those last few pounds off, calories do make a difference at that point in time, okay? But that's what I would suggest that you use, the Zero Drag. If you place an order from the Shibboleth store, $30 or more, we ship it to you for free, okay? So I would write that down as something that I would want as a staple in my house. I would want the Zero Drag MCT oil in my house. And here's the other, this is just my belief. Travis has been living this lifestyle. He created this lifestyle for himself, okay? He needed to lose over 100 pounds. He lost over 130 pounds. So he needed to have this lifestyle for himself. Thankfully, he's willing to share it with us. I'm so blessed by this. So I'm so thankful that he's willing to share. But honestly, if he says it's the best and he's using it for himself, that's what I want to do too. So that's what I use, is the Zero Drag 100% MCT oil from the Shibboleth store, okay? So what you're seeing right here is you're seeing that we can take a lean protein, cook it up in the right oil. Now your fastest fat burning oil is that MCT oil, the 100% MCT oil, because it is thermogenic and it helps burn a few extra calories too, all right? And then you are seeing some condiments here. And you've got a flame here and you've got a plus sign. What that means is that it is excellent for fat burning. Excellent. Okay, we're going to get to a few more that are great for fat burning, but this one just kicks it up another notch. It's excellent for fat burning. I did not talk about condiments last night, and condiments are very, very important to talk about. There's a rule that we use for condiments, because absolutely anything can be used as a condiment as long as it meets the rule, even if it's not in the food library, okay? Because there are so many things that can be used as a condiment. And so we have to have a rule about it. And if you just use the rule, then you're cool. But if you want it to be added to the food library, take a picture of the front and the back and send it to Kim Shibboleth in the Shibboleth Fixed It group on Facebook, and she can add it to the food library. But let's say that you're walking through the store and you've got your app out, because a lot of people use their app in the store. You can use your app in the store, or you could just set a shortcut to the food library on your phone's home screen. Either way works. But let's say that you go in there and you've picked up a pizza sauce, and you can't find the pizza sauce in the food library, the exact one. And you can just look at it, and if you're planning on just using that pizza sauce as a condiment amount, you're going to want to look for 2 things. You want to make sure that it does not have more than 5 grams of sugar per serving and no more than 2 grams of fat per serving. So those are the 2 things that you're going to look at, the sugar content and the fat content. And then when you do use that condiment, whatever it might be, let's say barbecue sauce or that pizza sauce or whatever it might be, you just do not want to use more than 50 calories of it in a meal. You can have up to 50 calories worth of condiments in a meal, but I want you to think about this. Condiments are where sugar is and where fat is. So using the least condiments that you can, it's best, or using condiments that are 0 calorie, you know, those kind of things, that's best. Because I want you to remember, well, I don't know if you were on last night's call or not, our webinar last night or not, but if you were, I talked about portion control. In 1 pound of fat, we have 3,500 calories. So in order to be in a calorie deficit and lose 1 pound of fat, we got to be in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. If we're eating 50 calories of condiments at every single meal over a week's time, that is 1,050 calories, okay? But so the way I look at a calorie or my condiments is this. If it makes a difference in the way that my food tastes, I'll use it. But you know how you get in the habit of slapping a piece of cheese on everything that you eat, and sometimes you can't even taste that slice of cheese? Then I figured I don't need to have that. I'm not even tasting that. But if the cheese makes the meal, then of course you'd want it. You can see what I'm saying. So just be choosy on your condiments because they do add up and make a difference in the long run. But let's read over a few of the condiments that we have listed here. Obviously, any 0-calorie condiment works, and we have a lot of 0-calorie condiments in the Shibboleth store. They're called Walden Farms, so we have that. You can use any 15-calorie or less spices and seasonings, salt and pepper, 15-calorie or less coffee creamers, salsa, salsa, reduced sugar ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, Kraft fat-free mayo. Obviously, these lists that I'm reading are a tiny percentage of the amount of foods that are in the food library. But what this row right here is saying is you can have a lean protein, cook it up in the right oil, doctor it up with the right condiments, and you can have an excellent fat burning meal. Now we're going to scroll up a little bit more, and the only thing that changed here in this row is this, category 7. So let's read over some shellfish: crab, lobster, shrimp, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams. So those are just a few. And if you'll notice, you can have 2 to 8 ounces, 2 to 8 ounces. It's the same ounces as this lean protein. And here's why. The shellfish is really just a lean protein. They are exactly the same. But we pulled shellfish off of a lean protein due to biblical reasons and medical reasons. Some people don't want to eat shellfish, so we just take it out, okay? So what this is saying is that you can have some shellfish, because shellfish is also something that you can eat by itself. It does not need to be combined. So you can have shellfish cooked up in the right oil and put the right condiments on there and have a delicious meal. In fact, Tania and I were talking again tonight. She wanted to talk about some shrimp with some ghee butter. That makes you a lovely shrimp scampi, okay? Whatever you're serving, if you're cooking 1 serving, just do 1 tablespoon of the ghee butter. If you're making more servings, you could have a little bit more, but I wouldn't overdo that, just as much as you need, okay? But without going over the amount, because it's got calories in it. All right, so let's move down a little bit more. What this is the new item here is, this isn't even a category, but it is a whole nother set of food: hemp products. I have recently just fallen in love with hemp products, but let me tell you, I almost found out that I've got to keep them out of the house. The ones from our store are so good that I actually had a hard time stopping eating, and I didn't actually stop eating some one day, and I had to turn that into a holiday, eating an approved food. Oops, they're so good. Oh my goodness. So you could do hemp hearts. Hemp hearts are a category 6 superfood. You could do hemp flakes, and hemp flakes are a category 1 and 2. So they've got lean protein and fiber in them. You could do very sweet hemp flakes, and those are the ones that I had a hard time stopping eating because they've got some syrup and stuff in them, and ooh, it's so good. You could do hemp protein powder and hemp oil. So they're just saying that you could use hemp products with your lean protein, cook it up in the right oil with the right condiment, and have an excellent fat burning meal. Excellent fat burning meal. So we're going to scroll down again. And this row right here is just showing you could do the same thing with your category 7s. So your category 7s, which are your shellfish, use some hemp products with it, cook it up in the right oil, put on the right condiments that make it taste just like you want it, and you have an excellent fat burning meal. So let's scroll down again. Now, the new category right here that we're going to be seeing is fibrous carbs, okay? Now, fibrous carbs, Let's talk about this. There's a lot of vegetables that you are going to find in the category 2 and category 3. Here's the thing. You'll actually also find what we consider vegetables in the category 6 superfoods. So vegetables, they actually end up in 3 different categories, but here's why. Not all vegetables respond the same way in your body, okay? They may be a starchy vegetable. They may be a more fibrous vegetable. They may be what we consider a superfood vegetable that's got all of the things in it. And when I say vegetable, I'm just including beans and everything, okay? So this vegetable that we're talking about right here is a fibrous carb. It's more of your cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, asparagus, okay? Those are hard and crunchy. You got your squash, your okra, your green leafy vegetables, spinach, cabbage, cucumbers, bell peppers, hot peppers, cauliflower, kraut, and dill pickles. So it's saying right here that if you picked one of these and you put it with a lean protein, cooked it up in the right oil with your right condiments, you have an excellent fat-burning meal. Travis always says that a lean protein, a fibrous carb, and MCT is your fastest fat-burning meal. So in week 1, if it were me, I would stick with quite a few ones, or I say ones, but I'm also including that shellfish in it if you like shellfish, okay? So your 1s plus your 2s and your MCT. I did a lot of those for dinner when I first started my first week. My first week, I did simple wraps for lunch. I did often meal replacements for breakfast, and then I would do a 1 and a 2 for dinner. If you are in the new member fast track group, you can look and see what my favorite meal replacements are. And that's a really great thing to add because you do need to know how to food combine, but food combining is not the only thing that you have. You can do meal replacements, simple food combining. You could do frozen meals and all kinds of other things that are in there. But we like for you to have your very best start in the beginning. So meal replacements and food combining is going to be your best. And then as you continue to learn what's what, you can add other things into your list of foods that you get to eat, okay? Which is a lot. There's nothing on Planet Shebola you can't eat. It just depends on what day you eat it on. If you want something that's not approved, you just eat it on a holiday, okay? You just don't eat it on a perfect day. So this is your fastest fat burning meal right here, a 1 + 2 plus MCT. And then we're gonna scroll down here. This is just saying you could put your shellfish with your category 2 and use the right oil and the right condiments and have an excellent fat burning meal, but using the MCT with your 7 and your 2 are going to be the fastest fat burning meal. Let's scroll down a little bit more. So we're going to see category 6 superfood. Let's read some examples. Pintos, black beans, soybeans, red beans, peanut butter, nuts, and seeds. So all of your nut butters are here, your nuts, your seeds, and all of your darker colored beans are here. Most of your lighter colored beans are a category 3 energy carb, but there are some that qualify to be a category 6 superfood, like a garbanzo bean. And here's why. The garbanzo bean, or actually anything that's in a superfood category, is going to have the 4 macronutrients in it. They're going to have water in it. They're going to have protein. They're going to have carbs, and they're going to have fat. So they're going to have all 4 in a superfood. So most lighter colored beans are an energy carb, but this is why I tell everybody the most important thing you can do is write down all the foods you like. What if you write down you like garbanzo beans, and because I've said that they are, most lighter colored beans are a category 3 energy carb, you just assume it's an energy carb without doing the act of looking this up in the food library for yourself and finding out, oh, garbanzo beans are a category 6 superfood, and you wouldn't know that. And we can't help you do everything for you because you eat different things than I eat. You eat different things than Travis eats, and you know, that kind of thing. That's what's great about Shebolas. We call it My Shebolas because we're not giving you an exact meal plan to follow. You learn how to eat the foods, but then you get to eat exactly what you like to eat. That's my favorite part of this program. So what this is saying here is you can take your superfood, doctor it up with your right condiments, and you have a great fat burning meal. You'll notice that the flame went away right there. It's not quite as excellent for fat burning as the others, but don't worry about it. It's still really good, okay? So you can do a category 6 with the right condiments and have a great fat burning meal. And it says right there, 1 cup up to 1.5 cups if you're doing it by itself. So let's scroll down a little bit more. So what this one is saying is that you can put your category 6 superfood with your category 2 fibrous carb, throw on your right condiments, and you've got an excellent fat burning meal. Travis always calls this greens and beans. So if you like your greens and beans, this is where you're going to find it right there. Category 6 and a category 2 with the right condiments. Now let's scroll down a little bit more. So let's look at this one. We have a new list here. Category 4, protein plus fat. If you'll notice, do you see right there where it says 2 to 6 ounces? The other ones, the lean protein and the shellfish, said 2 to 8 ounces. This one says 2 to 6 ounces. Here's why. There are 4 calories in a gram of protein, but in a gram of fat, there are 9. There are 9 calories. So we have to have just a little bit less of this in order to not have too many calories, okay? So that's why it says 2 to 6 ounces instead of 2 to 8 ounces. So some of the things that are in the protein plus fat category are whole eggs, all your cuts of steak, pork ribs, beef ribs, Hormel turkey spam, pulled pork, beef brisket, 93% lean up to 95.9% lean ground meat, and turkey kielbasa, as long as 50% of the calories do not come from fat. Okay, so you don't want to have more than 50% of the calories coming from fat. So what this is saying right here is that you can put this category 4 with something from this category 2 list, cook it up with the right condiments, and you have a great fat burning meal, a great fat burning meal. While we're on this row, I'm going to talk about 2 things. One, you want to make sure that you understand you can eat a category 4 by itself. Even though it's protein plus fat, you can still eat it by itself. So let's say you wake up in the morning and you go, I don't have anything in my refrigerator except some eggs. Make yourself some scrambled eggs, go to the store that day and move on, okay? You can have a category 4 by itself. Optimally, you would have your category 4 with a category 2 protein plus, category 2 fibrous carbs, okay? What you are not, and I think it's just as important to know what you don't want to combine with a category 4 protein plus fat. With your category 4 protein plus fats, you don't want to bring anything that's going to bring an insulin release. That is your category 3 energy carbs, your category 5 fruits, and to a smaller extent, but still we do this to keep ourselves safe, category 6 superfoods. So you don't eat your 4s, protein plus fat, with 3s, 5s, or 6s, okay? So you can eat them by themselves. You can eat them with a category 2, as shown here, but you can also eat them with a category 1 or a category 7. What that kind of looks like to me is surf and turf. Let's say you want some surf and turf. You can have steak and lobster. Now, you want to keep in mind, that's still going to fit under here. You don't want your whole plate filled with it. That's still going to fit under here. Over here, you would put your category 2 fibrous carb, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Does everybody understand that? I'm going to stop right there and see if y'all have any questions on that. Does anybody have any questions about the protein plus fat and that you can eat it by itself, that you can eat it with a category 2, that's the optimal way. You can also do with your 1s and your 7s, but you don't eat it with your 3s, 5s, or 6s. Does that make sense to everybody? And while I'm waiting on responses, if you guys have any responses, awesome, Kania, thank you. No questions there, okay. I'm gonna talk about, okay, Lisa has a question. What's your question, Lisa? Thank you, Kimberly, good. Category 1 chicken breast, is that lunch meat? Yes, you can have some lunch meat. The boar's head is the leanest, so that's why when I read that over, I was like, boar's head this, boar's head that. It is the leanest, but there's a lot of lunch meat listed in the food library, and you just want to make sure that no more than 20% of the calories in the lunch meat are coming from fat for it to be a category 1. If more than 20% of the calories are coming from fat, you would just consider it a category 4. But with chicken breast lunch meat should mostly be a category 1. I mean, unless they've added some fillers and fat to it, okay? But yes. Yeah, you don't have to cook lunch meat. It's totally fine. If you don't have any oil, that is okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, just eat it up. Don't worry about it. Don't let that stop you. That's just excellent for fat burning, and it's something I would get, but don't let it stop you from going forward. Okay, Deanna, the ones that can, there's 5 categories that can be eaten by themselves. You can eat lean protein, fibrous carb, protein plus fat, superfood, and shellfish. So you can eat all of the categories by themselves except for 3s and 5s. Can't eat them by themselves. Once you get into maintenance, you can do the 5s. We're going to talk about that in a second by themselves, okay? You're welcome. You're welcome to both of you. Okay. All right. So we've got that right now. But what I'm going to talk about right now is why you do not eat your protein plus fat with those things that I said. And I'm just going to use, those of you that were in the class last night heard this already, but there is no reason not to use the same example because it is one that just screams perfect example to me. Steak and baked potato. Your classic plate at a steakhouse, or you're making a nice meal at home, you're putting your steak and your baked potato together, and what you are doing is you're bringing the fat bus with that, okay? Because what insulin is a hormone. It is a growth hormone, and the type of growth hormone that it is a fat storage hormone. Okay, so knowing that insulin, see before Shibboleth, y'all tell me if anybody here knew before Shibboleth that insulin was a fat hormone, a fat storage hormone. One, I didn't even know anything about insulin. Let me just put it to you that way. I knew nothing about insulin. I did not know how it related to any of this. Yeah, Kimberly, me either, and Lisa, no clue. This is the #1 secret in weight reduction. You can make sure that you do this for the rest of your life with that, combining foods in the right way and not having the insulin release and dealing with all that, then you're not going to have any problem. You're going to get the weight off that you're wanting to lose, and then you're just going to be smooth sailing, I promise, because this is the #1 secret. So before Shibboleth, I had no idea. One, I didn't know insulin was even a hormone. And I didn't know hormones had those specific types of jobs, like a growth hormone or a fat storage hormone. I didn't know that. And so now that I realize this, I've been taught it through this education program, this nutrition education program. I've been taught that. I now put food on my plate in a way that don't bring the fat bus, okay? So let's just say that you've eaten that steak, which is a protein plus fat. So let's talk about that first. Protein, excellent for you. Fat, not a big deal, because this is a good fat. It is a healthier fat. Our brains need fat. Our bodies need some fat, okay? We just don't need extra stored energy fat, okay? But if you're eating a little bit of this, no big deal, okay? But if you have paired that with a baked potato, that's where the problem comes in. The problem wasn't that you were eating the steak. It's what you paired it with. So you're eating the potato. Okay, you're eating it, bam, 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 yum, yum, yum. It's so good. And then insulin, just doses of insulin just coming out because it's got to control your blood sugar. Okay, so it goes out there. When it gets out there, guess what it's doing? Oh, looky there, there's some fat. Yummy, let me go pick it up. So it's going to go pick up all that fat and it's going to store it. It's going to take it. It's like wheels on the bus go round and round back to the bus port, okay? It's the storage facility. We're taking it to the butt and the gut storage facility, all right? That's what's happening. But if you choose, now that you know this information, you choose, okay, I want my steak, but I know what Kim taught me. I'm going to now choose to have that with broccoli. Guess what? You're eating a protein. You're eating a little bit of fat. Are those fat lipids still running around in your body? Yes, you ate them. But did you have an insulin release? No, you didn't. And so therefore, those fat lipids get burned up as energy and none of it gets stored. Is that not amazing? That is amazing to me. I mean, I'm blown away by it still. Been doing this a year now, and I still have the same excitement that I did in the very beginning, because it is so cool. All right, so Kania's asking, are certain steaks better than others? Okay, I would say that obviously your leaner cut of steak is better because it's just less fat. So, so just whatever's a leaner steak would be better, but all cuts of steak are approved, okay? But I would say the leaner the better. And you can have regular potatoes, but they're not the best. So yes, you can have white potatoes, but they're not the best. We're going to be talking about that next and what you might want to have. You do not want white rice, okay? You would want to use long grain brown rice. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that actually right now. We're going to get to that next, okay? But I mean, still just blown away. If you're there blown away, if you're sitting in your house blown away with me, just thank the Lord. Thank the Lord right now for giving you this bit of information that's going to change the rest of your life, because he's provided it for you by giving it to Travis and putting this program together, okay? Other people know this, but they're not teaching you in a way that Travis is, okay? So a lot of people want to get money out of you, and Travis just wants to help everybody. All right, so let's scroll down a little bit more. The new thing right here is category 3, energy carbs, okay? So we're going to read this list. White potato, all your potatoes are here, but obviously your sweet potato would be a better choice, but you could do a white potato if you wanted to. Obviously, you're not going to have it with butter and sour cream and all that, unless it's a fat-free sour cream. You could do up to 50 calories of it because you can use your condiments. And then if you're going to do butter, I would do the 0-calorie butter spray, which is so good. Oatmeal, steel cut oats, weight control oatmeal. I think they've changed that weight control oatmeal to fiber and protein oatmeal. Long grain brown rice, quinoa, lima beans, peas. All your peas are a category 3. Tomato, onions, carrots. If they're cooked carrots, they're category 3. If they're raw carrots, you can actually use them as a category 2, or a freebie even. See, some foods have multiple things. So like carrots, if they're cooked, they've got to be considered a category 3 because there's a lot more sugar in them after you cook them. But if you are just eating them raw, they can be used as a category 2 or a freebie. And then you've got your whole wheat pasta and whole grain pasta. So your category 3s right here. Look at the amounts, okay? If you are in weight loss, I would do about a quarter of a cup. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but you're still portion controlling, okay? And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's say once you get to maintenance, you want to try to do a half a cup of that food. You can try it. Some people find that they can do half a cup and it works fine. Some people find they went up to half a cup and it didn't work for them. So a quarter of a cup is there. So that right there is really kind of your weight loss guideline. So I'm going to use lima beans as an example. So let's say I want to have some lima beans. I can cook my lima beans up and I could measure them out in a quarter cup. You know, I'm going to have to measure them with something like my spoon or whatever. But I don't even have to measure them at all because I'm going to use my 2-hand rule. But let's say that your lima beans will be about right there. Okay, that's your quarter cup. If you want to eat a category 3, it must be eaten with a 1 and a 2. So I always tell everybody this is a must and an and. Okay, so you must eat it with a category 1 and a category 2. So think about this. This quarter cup of potato or lima beans or whatever it is you're eating, is a quarter of a cup going to bring huge amounts of insulin release? It's not. It's not going to bring giant amounts of insulin release. It is going to bring an insulin release, but not so much that your body can't deal with it if you've paired it properly. Because what you're going to do is you're going to put that with your category 1 lean protein and your category 2 fibrous carb. You're going to let the protein in the lean protein and the fiber in your fibrous carb neutralize the insulin release that is going to come from the quarter cup of energy carb that you ate. Is that not amazing? That right there to me is amazing too. This is huge. This is huge. And I've adopted Travis's term of reverse engineer something. When he kind of starts backwards and goes backwards, I reverse engineer this. If I know I want to eat a category 3, I know it has to be paired super properly. So I always start with a category 3. Okay, I want to eat some lima beans. I need to make sure I have a lean protein and a fibrous carb with it. And remember that lean protein could also be shellfish because it's the same thing. Okay. Okay, so Kania. Yeah, I personally, I don't even do a whole bunch of whole grain anything. So I wouldn't worry about it. I would not do white rice. And that wild rice, you might want to find a different thing, okay? I would ask, now I wish I knew for you specifically, but Kim Shibboleth in the Shibboleth Fixed It group, this is the question that I would put in that group and let her answer for you, okay? Let her answer the question about the wild rice, No white rice though, no white rice. It's not going to do you any favors at all. And I actually don't do a whole lot of whole grains. Like, see where this says whole wheat pasta and whole grain pasta? I don't even do those. There are so many better choices in the food library, like the mung bean pasta or the black bean pasta. And they're considered category 1 and 2s. I mean, together, which is great. Or if you want to do the carbonara pasta, it's a category 1, 2, and 3 together. So yeah, I don't do a lot of whole grains myself, Kania, but I'd ask the question about that just to let Kim tell you, because she knows way more than me. Hey, Bo, I'm glad you're here. That's awesome. Thank you. Bo and I are battle buddying this week. If you guys have the gold membership or if you're a lifetime member, you can battle buddy with people too. And Bo's going to beat me. He's already lost 5 pounds in a fast, a 72-hour fast that he did. Oh my goodness. And he was fasting and I was holidaying. Okay, but I'm back on perfect days today, Bo. All right, so this, do y'all understand that? Do y'all understand that your category 3 must be eaten with a 1 and a 2? Y'all give me some thumbs up or something if you understand that, because it's important. But I also want you to know that this is still a great fat burning meal. This is a great fat burning meal. There is no reason not to include category 3s in your foods. Now, in the beginning, and if you want to have, thank y'all, in the beginning, if you want to have the best weight loss, I would leave out the category 3s for a little bit, maybe your first 7 to 10 days, so that you can get that really great jump start. Because this is an easily accessible source of energy, your category 3s are. So even though we're pairing it properly to deal with the insulin release, the energy carb is still an easily accessible source of energy. And so our body is always going to go to the easily accessible sources of energy first. That is where long chain triglycerides come in. That's why we use an MCT rather than an LCT, because it's a long chain triglyceride, which is your canola oil, your vegetable oil, olive oil. Those take a long time to burn up on the body. They're super easily accessible sources of energy. Our body is always working on burning them off rather than getting to stored energy, which is fat, to burn it off. That's why that's crucial to make sure you're using the right oil. And in the beginning, you might want to stay away from category 3s, but they are still allowed, okay? And I don't want you to miss out. Okay, category 3, tomatoes are a category 3. Guess what it depends on? Depends on how much you're eating of it, okay? So what it is it's, if you're using less than about 50 calories, let's just say you're using a thin little slice on a hamburger, you know, you're going to take a 96% lean hamburger or something, you're using a thin little slice of tomato, that can be really considered your condiment. But if your meal is making up a lot of tomatoes, then you just want to make sure that you don't have any protein plus fat with that. There's still sugars in that tomato, and that's why it is in the category 3. So, but you can use it. You can use it as a condiment on anything. So let's say you want a little bit of some grape tomatoes on a salad, throw them on there. They're not going to really affect anything with that at all. And definitely cooked for sure. It's actually cooked or uncooked, but it just depends on how much you're using of it, whether it is a condiment size, it can be used as a condiment, but otherwise it is a category 3 due to the sugar content. Okay, so let's scroll down here. The new one we're going to use right here is category 5, fruit. Category 5, fruit. All your fruit is in category 5. If you want to know the absolute best fruits, it actually is in order. all of your berries would be best, and then apples would be next, oranges and grapefruit, and then draw a line right there. These are your best fruits. If you want to eat some fruit, you must combine it with a category 1 and a category 2. This one needs to be treated the exact same way as your energy carbs. Reason being is it brings that insulin release, okay? And you need to pair it with some protein and some fiber so that it can neutralize the insulin release. Now, we do not exclude any macronutrients in Shibboleth. If you have ever done a program that excluded macronutrients, you know that it was not going to be sustainable for life, okay? So, but fruit, and we know it's good for you. Fruit is antioxidants. It's an antioxidant carb, really, and antioxidants are so good for you. A lot of phytonutrients are in the colors that are in fruit, and they're good for you. So I want you to know that fruit just needs to be treated differently while in weight loss. While you're in weight loss, fruit must be combined properly. But once you get into maintenance, this is one of the differences between maintenance and weight loss. Once you get into maintenance, if you want to have a serving of fruit as a snack by itself, then you could do that. You could do that, but you don't want to still just be eating fruit all day long. But if you want to get a serving of fruit by itself as a snack in maintenance, then you can do that. All right. And just a little recap, if you didn't watch last night's video, there's 3 differences between weight loss and maintenance. One is the number of holidays that you can use in a month. In weight loss, you can use up to 6 holidays. Once you get into maintenance, you can use up to 12 holidays. Number 2 is how you eat fruit, which we just talked about. And 3 is your mindset, because by the time you get to maintenance, you should have a mindset that this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle that's going to be something that you do forever. And I just want to tell you, having this as your mindset is actually going to change many times, and you're going to come up with so many different strategies for yourself over this lifetime that you're doing this. Okay. Oh yeah, Lisa, you can definitely go back and view last night's video. It's in a couple of places. If you are in the new member fast track group, it's in there. Okay. If you aren't in that group for some reason, let's say you don't have Facebook, if you go to the video library and go to the 1 hour fast track video, it will be last night's video. Sasha always puts in the most recent video in there for that. Okay, so I hope that is making sense. You're welcome. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go over some other little things, okay? So this is exciting. There's people that are not willing to give up bread, and there is a lot of programs that want you to give up the bread. But here's what's most exciting about our program, that food library. Now I can go into the grocery store with full confidence that I can find the foods that aren't going to cause my body harm. See, before I didn't have all these little resources, and I didn't know which breads to buy. I didn't know all this kind of stuff. So now I do. So we have over 60 approved bread or bread type items in the food library. And when I say bread type items, I mean something like an English muffin or a wrap or tortilla or a pita bread or lavish bread, that kind of stuff. So let's just read over some of this. But obviously, Travis wants us to know less bread is best. And if you're looking for the best results, I would not have bread at my evening meal. I mean, because our bodies have to deal with that overnight. And anything that's starchier, let's say we have a gram of carbs. Well, guess what? 3 grams of water are going to attach themselves to that gram of carbs. So your weight may be up in the morning if you've eaten this late in the afternoon, okay? Now, if you're not that concerned about the scale, then you can eat it whenever. But if you're one of those people that don't like to see the scale be up when you know you've done right, and you can't not worry about it, then don't eat your bread at the evening meal, okay? But if that's something that's not going to bother you, just keep right on going along, because your scale will eventually show you what you want to see. But we can use the La Tortilla 50-calorie tortilla, the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber tortilla, Healthy Life bread, which I think is also under the name Lewis bread, Nature's Own double fiber wheat bread, Bran Crisp bread. I had Bran Crisp bread tonight at dinner. If you are going to eat a bread type thing at dinner, this Bread Crisp bread would be one because it is just really extreme fiber. It's more like a cracker than a bread to me. Healthy Life hot dog buns and Thomas Light, the 100-calorie English muffins. Now, my favorite breads that I have found, because I've kind of been through a little gamut of trying things, is the Sara Lee Delightful 45-calorie bread. That's my favorite loaf bread. But I love the Joseph's mini pitas, the Joseph's lavish bread. I really like the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber tortilla, and I've done the Thomas Light English muffins before, but I found that if I was making myself, like let's say I was doing a piece of Canadian bacon with some eggs with it, I found I didn't need the whole English muffin. I was way too full. So I would just make myself an open-faced sandwich with that. But those are the kind of things that you find out when you're journaling, because if you're doing your perfect day, living the Shibboleth Shield, and you're journaling your food, and one day I figured out I don't need to eat the whole English muffin because I wrote down I am too full after this meal. And what journaling does for you is, you know how you'll write something down, but you don't really come up with a way to deal with it until later. When you're in the shower or driving or going to sleep, all those times we think about the important things of life. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I just don't need the whole English muffin, which is great because then I save money. Because there's 8 English muffins in a package, but if I only eat half of them, that takes 16 days to eat it rather than 8, and I've saved money. So there are over 60 approved bread or bread type items in the category 2 category. I will never ever eat again another category 3 bread. I don't need to, because there's plenty of delicious ones in the category 2. The reason that these particular breads make it into the category 2 is that they have enough fiber in them, and oftentimes a good amount of protein, but they have enough fiber in them to break down in your body more like a green bean. So they are responding in your body more like a green bean rather than an energy carb. So that's why they qualify to be in the category 2. I mean, who knew somebody could look into all these different foods and put this into a food library for us to benefit from? It's huge. Okay, approved sweeteners: stevia, Splenda, monk fruit, xylitol. I am sure there are more like Swerve and other things. I've heard of a lot of those. You can use all of those sweeteners. And I often like to just address the artificial sweetener one. If you come into this program thinking, I don't do artificial sweeteners, well then don't. You don't have to. No big deal. But if somebody does do them, then they can do them. And this is one thing I love about Shibboleth. We meet every single person exactly where they are with their budget and what they're willing to do. All our goal is to do is teach you how to lose the unwanted body fat that you might have on your body, because you probably have it there because you're looking for some way to lose it, okay? And you found us. But these things can be used. But if you don't use artificial sweeteners, just don't use it. But somebody else might want to use it, just let them use it. Same thing with like Hormel turkey spam. People are like, what? Your program's got Hormel turkey spam on there? Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes that is what people can afford. And we want them to know whether you can afford grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or whether you can afford, all you can afford is Hormel turkey spam, and we can teach you how to lose weight. We can meet you where you are in your budget and all that you have going on and teach you how to do this program. And I am excited about that because that means this is an inclusive program that we can teach anybody, okay? Approved beverages. Water, obviously. We need to be drinking at least 64 ounces of water every single day. Our goal is a gallon, and if you are working on getting that gallon in, let me tell you, you are not going to be hungry because your body is going to be satisfied and your tummy is going to be full, okay? Any zero-calorie beverage works. Unsweet or approved tea and coffee, but only with approved sweeteners, okay? Make sure that you find a sweetener that works. There is a whole link in the food library that talks all about sweeteners. And I don't drink coffee, but one of the things that I would do if I did drink coffee is I would get myself a Premier protein shake in the flavor that I like, pour it in like it's my coffee creamer. You get a little extra protein and some flavor. I still would try not to use more than 15 calories though, okay? Bang, Bo says. And then cheese. So here's just some cheese that you can use. You can use it as a condiment up to 50 calories, all right? Now, let me just revisit condiments real quick. Remember I said you could have up to 50 calories worth of condiments per meal if you wanted to, but to be choosy on them, all right? But let's say that you are putting a piece of cheese on your burger. I had a 96% lean ground burger tonight, and I put a piece of cheese on there that was 30 calories. If I had wanted some ketchup, I've got 20 calories that I can deal with, okay? I would just look at the back of the ketchup bottle and just do whatever teaspoon or whatever. You usually don't need, see, we have over condimented ourselves. I mean, there is so many calories in condiments, and we just need to learn not to have as many condiments. So just make sure you can use multiple condiments in a meal, but it shouldn't be more than 50 calories total of them. Yes. Okay, Kimberly says that she likes monk fruit in her coffee. And I found a really great monk fruit syrup that I like on my pancakes too. So awesome. I'm glad you like that. But actually, my favorite sweetener out of these right here is xylitol. I love xylitol. Okay, so let's read over some of these cheeses. Fat-free feta cheese, Kraft fat-free cheese, Borden fat-free cheese, Cabot extra light cheese, Laura Lynn fat-free cheese, Kroger brand fat-free cheese, Lifetime fat-free cheese. Travis says he loves the Lifetime fat-free cheese, and you pretty much have to order that from the Lifetime website, but he really likes that. My favorite sliced cheese, the singles, is this Borden fat-free cheese. I don't know what they did to that, but it is so good. To me, it's better than, let's say, the Kraft one. And then I really like this Cabot extra light cheese. It is a block cheese, and what I do is when I open it up, I go ahead and I cut it into 50 calorie increments, because I usually use that when I am doing a salad. I don't do dressing, I never have, so I don't have to worry about that. But I would take my little block cheese and I would shred it on top of my fibrous carb salad, and that gives me my 50 calories worth of yummy extra light cheese on there. So now let's look at some milk, okay? You can do 8 up to 16 ounces. If you are using milk, this milk, the listed milk here, as a component of your meal, then you can do up to 8 ounces, okay? But if you're using it as your meal, you know, just drinking a milk as your meal, you can do up to 16 ounces, okay? But if you're just having it as part of a meal, you can do up to 8 ounces. You can use fat-free Fairlife milk, Kroger Carb Master milk, or hemp milk. I always like to explain right here why skim milk does not work. There's not enough protein in it. See, fat-free Fairlife milk and Kroger Carb Master milk have extra protein in it. Milk is often used in a cereal. Okay, so cereals, even approved cereals, are a little bit starchy. So you still have to have enough protein to offset the starchiness of some of those foods. So that's why this milk is approved where skim milk is not. Okay, so let's look at some breadings and flours. Coconut flour, Carb Quick flour, Bob's TVP, which is a textured vegetable protein, and almond flour. So there's a lot of great recipes in there, that in the recipe library, that would include these. And Carb Quick is great. Carb Quick is actually considered a category 2 fibrous carb. I have made garlic cheddar biscuits to go with my meals, and I used it as category 2. I've made Carb Quick pancakes and all kinds of things, Carb Quick muffins. You want to make sure that you do not use the recipes on the Carb Quick box. They're just recipes. They did not take into Shibboleth. They didn't take Shibboleth rules into account, okay? So make sure that you're utilizing a recipe from the recipe library as your Carb Quick one. And you can buy Carb Quick from the Shibboleth store too. So if you're adding to your little list of things to get from the Shibboleth store, that's a great thing to get from there. So if you wanted to have a glass of milk before bed, can you? So I don't know. Hang on. Let's look this up in just a second. Let's look it up in just a second. I personally wouldn't myself, because I don't want any calories right before I go to bed. I want to have a body that is efficiently burning fat at night. And when you give yourself some extra calories at night, it's gonna slow down the process of efficient fat burning, even approved, I think. I mean, that's just my mindset. Oh, and just to recap, after 2 perfect days, you get into what we call efficient fat burning. EFB. I love being an EFB because I know my body is accessing stored energy, which is fat, and it's using that instead of easily accessible energy. What we'll do in a minute, Deanda, is we will look up milk in the food library and we'll see what it says. And if it doesn't give us a good answer, please ask that in the Shibboleth Fixed It group. But we'll see if we can come up with the answer in just a second. I'll kind of show you the process of what I go through when I don't know the answer to something. Okay, cereals. To get started, you can do 1 cup up to 1.5 cups of Kashigo Lean, K's Natural Cereal, and Hilo Nutritious Living. This K's Natural Cereal, we sell it at the Shibboleth store too. I love the French vanilla. It is so good. I'm not going to reread these condiments because we've talked condiments to death, okay? But we're going to look at some of these restaurants right here. And I'm not going to read all these restaurants either. But I am going to talk about what I want you to do. I want you to go into the restaurant guide, either on your app or on the website, and I want you to look at the restaurants that you frequent the most often. I want you to look at what they have to offer, and I want you to specifically open up those foods, because you might see on there, oh, there's my favorite meal. I'm so excited I can order that, but you didn't take the time to open it up and read it. It might tell you, make sure you leave off the croutons. Make sure you leave off the little French fried onions. Don't order it with the bread. Bring your own bread. You know, it's going to tell you all the details that you need to know. And this is where learning about our survival kit, which Jason's got some great videos in the video library on survival kits, that will come in handy. So if you have looked ahead of time at the restaurants and start to familiarize yourself with the restaurants that you go to the most often, that will be the easiest way to order at restaurants. Obviously, when you're at a sit-down restaurant, you have time to think, okay, all meat, I said this last night, I don't know if you watched last night, but all meat in a restaurant must be considered a category 4 in order to keep you safe, because that means that you know not to order with it an energy carb, a fruit, or a superfood. You know that you're going to order your fibrous carb with that. So all meat at a restaurant, even if it's a piece of chicken breast, it needs to be considered a category 4 because you do not know what oil they cooked it in. And so basically they learned, I mean, they probably didn't use MCT. That would be really rare if they used MCT. So what they did was they took a piece of chicken breast that was a lean protein and they added fat to it. Therefore, it turned into a protein plus fat. All right, I hope that makes sense. But let's just look over a couple of these. Chick-fil-A. You can have 8 to 12 grilled nuggets. If you're willing to give up 4 nuggets, you could have 8 fried nuggets. You can also do their grilled filet, their fried filet, or their spicy fried filet. Obviously, you're not going to use the bun. But their strips don't work. Their chicken strips don't work, so don't order those. And then when I order, I say I want a side salad with light Italian dressing. I just don't get the fries anymore. Now, if it's a holiday, I'll have my French fries. But if it's not a holiday, I'll order a side salad. And then Mexican restaurant, you could do a bowl of chicken soup, no rice, 3 soft chicken tacos, but use your own tortilla. And so this is kind of giving you an idea of why you need to open up that restaurant guide and have a look. Quarter pounder, McDonald's quarter pounder on your own bread. This is a real popular one. Wendy's, a small chili over a side salad, and just so forth. So I'm not going to read all those, but you can open up and look at your favorite ones, all right? So what we're going to do right now is I am going to go to the food library and look up milk. Can y'all see that screen? I switched over to the Shibboleth. Okay, cool. So I just put milk in. Look at all that milk that popped up. All that milk popped up. So because I don't want all those milks, I'm just going to look right here at Fat-Free Fairlife milk. Okay, so it's a category 1 lean protein. It can also be used as a snack. So, Deanda, if you want to have a glass of milk before bed and you have not had a snack that day, then you can have that before bed if you wanted to. As a snack, it's a 0 on the weight loss meter. So it's not going to help you, not going to hurt you type of thing, okay? And it says you can have up to 1 cup as a snack. 1 cup is 8 ounces, you know, as a snack, or up to 2 cups as a category 1 if you're using that as a component of a meal. And you can also use milk with some perfect pairings. What a perfect pairing is, to let you know, is it is something that does not, quote, fit the rules of combining, but it's still not going to hurt you. Okay, so it's saying right here that Kroger Carbmaster is actually preferred if it's available, but Fat-Free Fairlife is interchangeable with Kroger Carbmaster and can be used in place of Kroger Carbmaster in any circumstances where it is used. Okay. And then look right here. I don't know if y'all have experienced this before, but look, these are all the recipes that would include that item. That is so cool. Okay, and Lisa is asking, what is the one in the yellow box? Okay, this one right here is what we call the weight loss meter, WLM. See how this right here says WLM right here? WLM, weight loss meter. So this, as a category 1, is a -1 on the weight loss meter. So our weight loss meter goes from -3 to +3. 0 is not going to help you, not going to hurt you. Your negative numbers are better for weight loss. Your positive numbers, you can still do them in weight loss, but you're probably not going to see any results, you know, but it's not going to throw you out of VFB either. But those are probably saved more for maintenance, okay? So that's what that is. That is the weight loss meter. So look at this right here. Look at it while we're here. Let's look at some things. If I really like this milk, I can click right here and give it 5 stars. If I want to use this milk on a regular basis, or I'm gonna mark it as one of my favorites, I'm gonna click there. See how I hearted it? That number right there increased because that means 172 people have said they like this milk. If I want to add this to my grocery list, I can click right there. I can choose my grocery list and add it. Now you have to already have a grocery list made to be able to add it to a grocery list. This is why I need y'all to go through every single day in the new member fast track group. I put out a video in the morning before 6 o'clock in the morning. The video will be out there. It's a video of me showing you all of these details, showing you how to use the food library, how to make a grocery list, what this WLM is, weight loss meter. I'm showing you all of that in the videos. So it's really important that you watch those videos, and not just the fast track videos. Watch the 14 fast track videos because they take you less than 1 hour to watch all of those, but you need to watch that extra little video that comes out every morning in the new member fast track group. If you don't see the unsweet coconut milk, you're going to want to ask Kim Shibboleth about that, okay? Because I don't know why it wouldn't be on the list. So ask Kim Shibboleth about that in the Shibboleth Fixed It group, okay? But we can look. There's some dairy-free coconut milk original. Oh, that's coffee creamer. And I try to put as little words as possible in the food library when I'm searching for something. So I tried coconut milk to start, but now I'm just going to put coconut in it and see what we come up with. The list will be a little bit longer, I'm sure. Yep, there we go. Yeah, what I would do is, Lisa, take a picture of the front of the item and the nutrition label, post that in the Shibboleth Fixed It group. And if it is something that would work, Kim can put it in this list. And if it's not something that'll work, she'll tell you why and give you an alternative, hopefully, okay? The Fairlife High Protein Shake. This right here, the Fairlife High Quality Protein Nutritional Shake, is that one? Okay. Yep, so it's a -2 on the weight loss meter, so that's great. It can be used as a snack or a meal replacement. One container can be used as a snack or a light meal replacement. If you use it as a snack, it is a 0 on the weight loss meter. If you use it as a meal, that's when it's a -2 on the weight loss meter. So yeah, that works. Yes, Lisa, the Shibboleth Fixed It group. Yeah, that's what you want to post that. And that's what I did in the beginning. In the beginning, anytime I was just questioning something, I would just take a picture of the front of the item and the nutrition label and post it in there. And there were some things that she was able to put in the food library. And then there were some things that I'd been using that she says, no, those don't work. And this is why. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, so I was real thankful that somebody told me why it didn't work. So, and hopefully she'll give you an alternative to the calcium. You're welcome. And then when I mentioned perfect pairing earlier, do you see right here, there's a whole link on perfect pairings. So there's a whole link on freebies and snacks and extras. We try to get people to eat just 3 meals a day, okay? But if for some reason you cannot do that, we go to freebies. You can have freebies as often as you want to, but we need to learn not to graze, so you don't want to just eat them all day long. And then you could do 1 extra in a day if you needed it, and you could do 1 snack in a day if you needed it. But think about that. If you did all of those things, that could easily end up being 300 calories in a day that you don't need. And 300 into 3,500 is 11.67, and you are slowing your weight loss down by that many days. So I would be really picky on what I ate. So right here, if somebody wanted to eat 1 apple with 2 ounces of Lifetime fat-free cheese, they could. Now, it's a perfect pairing because it does not follow the rules, because we're not supposed to eat fruit with just a category 1. Okay, because fruit's supposed to be with a category 1 and 2, but they're saying this will be a perfect pairing. But look right here, the weight loss meter is a 1. So that's more, to me, a maintenance thing. I wouldn't do that in weight loss. You can have 1 can of tuna and 5 wheat Ritz crackers. It does not meet the food combining, but it's still going to work okay. It's going to be a -1 on the weight loss meter. So there's a few extra little things in there that are perfect pairings. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go to the journal real quick, and I want to show you something. If you take the time to heart the foods that you like, they move over into your journal under favorite food. And then you've taken this big giant food library and made it smaller, and all of just your favorite foods are in there. That is really cool, really cool. And then the last thing I want to look at is I want to look at, I'm going to go to the advanced combination chart because I want to show you something. This advanced combination chart, you want to make this your friend, okay? You need to screenshot this on your phone. You need to, it doesn't have to be this one. It can also be the one that is just for the fast track week. This one has a little bit more combinations in it. But what I want you to see right here is, do you see this says PP? That PP stands for perfect pairing. So see, perfect pairings, because they don't meet the combination rules, they're not going to be the absolute fastest for weight loss, which are going to be these 2 columns. They still will work, and they're still going to be good for weight loss. They just have to be over here because they are a little bit slower. And then if you'll look right here where this says MR, that means meal replacement. This is a -2 and a -3, so that's on the weight loss meter. What we're saying is these are excellent for fat burning. Actually, they should be in this blowtorch column, but Travis doesn't, he likes for people to think about whole foods and everything and not just meal replacements. But I'll tell you, see, there's something else before Shibboleth. I didn't even know about a meal replacement and that it could be used as your meal and you could use it instead of eating other things. And I was like, what? So I kind of have embraced a meal replacement and I really like them myself. And so I use them quite often. And the reason that they are excellent for weight loss is because calories are controlled in them. Because even using your 2-hand rule, you know, you're not really measuring stuff out and it's not going to be perfect, you know. It's still going to be great because you're controlling insulin and everything. But right here, you know exactly how many calories you got because it came packaged properly from the store. But here's your phase 1 approved combination. See how there's a lot less right up there in the categories. And here's some rules right here, and here's your legend down here. But I want y'all to I want y'all to work your way through the fast track this week. It is so, so important that you work your way through the fast track. Answering the questions that are asked, like for today, the question was, please comment with a lean protein and a fibrous carb that you want to eat. When you answer with the answers, I know you're participating, and it makes me happy because any teacher loves to know that the people that they are trying to teach are paying attention. And I hope that makes sense. The fast track is on Facebook, Lisa, but if you don't have Facebook, I can send you the are you new, Lisa? Because if you're new, you should have gotten all those by fast track. Yeah, okay. So you do have Facebook. Yeah, it's on Facebook, and I prefer Facebook, and here's why. I do not check the emails very regularly. So if you're replying to me, it might be a day or two before I get back, but Facebook I check pretty regularly. Yeah. Okay, yeah, just go into the new member fast track group. Let me share my screen with you again, and I'll show you what it looks like. That thing still hadn't gone live anyway. So the new member fast track group is right here. This is what it looks like. And so let's see, Lisa. All right, Lisa, you're not in the group. So let me just put this in here. I'm going to put this in the chat. There it is. All you got to do is ask to be entered into that group, and anybody else that's not in the group, y'all go ahead and ask to be in that. And when we get off here, I'll let you in. And then this is the way this group works. If you scrolled all the way to the bottom of this group, it's not like the silver level group where all of that is going on, okay? A lot of stuff's going on in that group. This is, you can go all the way to the bottom. A lot of pictures of me because they keep popping up in my memories, and I keep doing a side-by-side of what last year looked like versus this year, so sorry about that. Scrolled all the way to the bottom here. When I scrolled all the way to the bottom, if you will look at these worksheets and these posts, you really could take it like an electronic textbook. It is just work your way through those posts and it will help you. It really will. And it's really important enough to go through and look at it all. But look, there I go, scrolling back up all the way to, this was last night's post and video. So if y'all are looking to watch last night's video, there you go. It's right there. And then this was today's tutorial. So this was a video of me showing you how to find the 10 blue links with all of your downloadable resources, teaching you how to confirm your email and set up your profile and all of that. So I'll walk you through this if you'll participate with it, okay? If you don't participate with it, you're really cutting yourself short and not giving yourself the best start. So we'll do that. We'll just have the best start possible, right? And do it all. And here's the thing, Facebook may not notify you that a post came out. You might have to just remember that you're participating in something this week and go there and find it and do each day, okay? You're welcome, Annette. You're welcome. Yeah, it's time to wrap this up. And I hope that y'all have a blessed and perfect day tomorrow. I know that you can lose 7 pounds in 7 days. This is the type of program that's easy to do. And then just keep right on plugging along and start turning this into your forever lifestyle, because it really does need to turn into that. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. Thank you. Y'all have a great night. Reach out to us if you need anything. If you didn't hear me say last night, I want you to go ahead and book a mentor appointment. I want you to book it for next week, though. The reason is I want you to do your fast track this week and then do your mentor appointment next week. That way, if you have any questions, you can ask them. Because if there were questions that didn't get answered this week, you still have somebody next week to ask your questions to. And I hope that makes sense. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed the class. That's awesome. Okay, well, we're hopping off and y'all have a great night. Bye.